Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So, welcome back to Bhagavatam Bites. We're here with two more wonderful devotees, Dambasis from Sri Dam New Mayapur. So we have Bhakti Cleo, correct? Cleo,
Yes.
got it correct. And Bhakta Nicola, correct? It's Nicholas really, but France, they don't pronounce the S, so it's Nicola. And we're here with our most special guest, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're so honored. This is Srila Prabhupada's rooms in Sri Dam New Mayapur. In fact, I just saw an email from the GBC here of New Mayapur, and he was explaining that New Mayapur is actually the last temple in Europe where Prabhupada stayed, where he installed the deities personally, and where his rooms are still kept, and these rooms are kept in really, I would say, immaculate condition.
Yes.
And again, maybe Bhava Bhakti will give you a little bit of a tour and show you a few little shots at this point of the room, because
I'll put a link to Bhakti Vision because that will show a tour of this.
Perfect. So there you go. So you can go to Bhakti Vision, but it's really, you feel Srila Prabhupada's presence here, and it's so wonderful to be reading Prabhupada's books with Srila Prabhupada and with these wonderful devotees. So thank you so much for giving us your valuable time. All the devotees are so busy here at Sri Dam Mayapur, so we're so honored that you were able to join us.
Thank you for your time.
So, where are we?
Canto 3, chapter 25, and it's text 37. So chapter 25 and text 37, which is...
And the title of the chapter?
That's the last one.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. You have it? Looks like no.
Oh, no.
We'll all share this.
Okay.
And,
Sorry.
no,
We stopped.
and this is Govinda. He's doing so much service here. No problem. It's okay. We'll all just use this. And you guys can use this.
No.
Okay, and we have it on the phone.
You sure?
Yeah.
So we'll just start with the invocation, so we can all say together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Would either of you like to start? Just we don't read the Sanskrit, just the verse, and we read by paragraph, and then we can talk. So you can read the
25?
37.
37.
So you can start there.
There.
Yeah,
There.
like that, and then when you turn, it's like a book. Okay.
So, translation. Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thoughts of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8th material perfection obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions.
Interesting.
So, purports. The vibhuti or opulences offered by Maya are of many varieties. We have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment, even on this planet. But if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandraloka, the sun, or still higher Mahaloka, Janaloka or Tapoloka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and is called Satyaloka, there are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planets. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma's 12 hours are inconceivable even to our mathematicians. These are all descriptions of the external energy of the Lord, or Maya. Besides these, there are other opulences which the yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. A devotee does not aspire for all these material pleasures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing. But a real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught that one should not desire material opulence or material reputation, nor should one try to enjoy material beauty. One should simply aspire to be absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, even if one does not get liberation, but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna's consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here, Bhagavatam Bites. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful. Yet, a pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there. But still, he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual world, even during the present lifespan.
So anything stood out for anyone in that verse in purport? Any points?
It's inspiring to become devotee.
Seems like, yeah.
So he's telling that there is actually no really difference, if I understand well, between material and spiritual world. If the consciousness is spiritual, then we have the benefit and so on. Yes. That's interesting. Some persons say, "Oh, why devotees? You seems not to want to stay in this world and to be." No, it's not like that. Actually, it's just a state of consciousness. And
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the second canto of the Bhagavatam, there are the seed verses, the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, 4 seed verses. In the 9th chapter, I can't remember the exact verse numbers, but the first or second verse explains that, gives the definition of Maya, which is that Maya is simply the absence of Krishna. So in that way, we could say, oh, this whole room is just Maya. But it's not Maya, because everything here is connected to Krishna through the pure devotee, and because it's Krishna's temple. But Krishna is present in every atom of matter. So Krishna is not absent from anything. The only thing that makes Krishna absent is the fact that we're absent, absent-minded, and we're not connecting it to Krishna. So yeah, so actually what is it in Gita? Krishna explains, Sarvasya chaham ridisani vishto mata smritir dhyanam apohanam cha. That I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. And then he says, the wise who perfectly know this, they engage in my devotional service and they worship me with all their hearts. So like that, if we have that mood, we're seeing Krishna everywhere and in everything. So exactly like you said, it's amazing.
I think it's interesting that here it's saying that devotees, I mean, when you're pure devotee, you're trying to be sincere and pure. You're not thinking, Krishna, give me this, give me that, but it's explaining they'll get all the
benedictions.
and then the non-devotees, however, we strive and work so hard to get those things. But the irony is when you're a devotee, you're like, I'm not bothered about that. And Krishna's like, well, here you go. You have it all. So it's interesting that, non-devotee would really want those things and you don't always get it.
I think maybe we were reading was it in the Gita the other day? And just about the idea of liberation, or it might have been here, that like Bhaktivedanta Thakur explains that everyone's trying for liberation. I think it was because we read 266 of Bhagavad Gita Sarvadharma Parityajya, and or 1866 rather, and there Prabhupada may mention that liberation, everyone is trying for liberation, to just get liberated. And he said, but Bhaktivedanta Thakur and the Shastra explains that liberation knocks at the door of the bhakta. He's like, the liberation is looking for liberation. Liberation is looking for bhakti. So bhakti is much more powerful. And so liberation is just kind of like a small thing compared to bhakti. And you can see, because everything comes from bhakti.
When we read Prabhupada's purport, I was remembering one verse of Gita that maybe you can correct me if I'm not.
No, please.
But it said, Krishna said, every beauty you see in this world is just a spark of my beauty. So devotees, myself, I try to, when I see something beautiful, I say, what is it in comparison of Krishna's beauty? So if we try to have this consciousness, I find in my life that we are not so much interested in this world, but even yet Prabhupada said, Krishna gives us everything in this world. So we don't need to be interested. Krishna take care.
You have to trust.
And even we don't get it, you are interested in Krishna, which is the source, like you say, of all this beauty.
That's so nice. I love that verse actually. I can't remember the Sanskrit, but what is the use of, because Krishna gives a long list of all of his opulences. The Sanskrit term is vibhuti. I think it's the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. And he lists all these opulences of the mountains. I'm the Himalayas. I'm the taste and water. I'm the light of the sun and the moon. And then he says, but what use is there of all these things? I permeate everything, and it's all just simply a spark of my splendor. It's like, and then he says, I think it's in the same chapter. He says that I permeate everything like pearls are strung on a thread. You can't see the thread; all you see is the pearls. But actually, Krishna is the thread that holds everything together, and he's underlying. So, and even more in one sense, like you were saying. At least what I always feel, because it's like this sometimes in the beginning, right? We very much are interested in getting out of the material world, and we go back to Godhead. So it's like a destination, a location. But actually, we see here that where is it? It was mentioning that that even continuing to live here, I'm sure it said that somewhere. Here it is. Even if one does not get liberation but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. And that's the verse from Shikshastakam, right?
Yes.
We read it every morning. Na janam na sundarim kavitamba jagadish kamini mama janami ishwari bhavatam bhakti arahaitikita janami birth after birth. I don't mind, because I have no desire, for all of these. Even if I have to take birth again and again, it's no problem. And that's higher. Because we think going back to Godhead is a place, which it is, but more than that, it's a consciousness. And that means, like you said, because Prabhuji does so much of the gardening here, right?
That's right.
So you're, I mean, it's just miraculous how you can take this little seed and stick it in the earth, and just put a little water on it.
It's a
And then
miracle.
like 2 months later, you've got like whatever, tomatoes growing, or you've got, you mostly do vegetables or flowers?
Vegetables.
Yeah, so, carrots are growing, potatoes.
Mm.
It's like complete magic.
Yes.
I mean, we take it for granted.
Yeah.
But it's actually just like a miracle
Yeah,
that
it
these
is.
things come. And even, it's like every winter it looks like everything dies.
Yeah, the tree, everything.
Everything's bare and empty, and you're like, oh. But then spring comes, tweet, 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 tweet. First rays, and then all of a sudden everything just comes alive again. I mean, Krishna's magic is going on all around us.
Yes.
And often we're blind to it. We don't see it, So it's actually like being more and more present to Krishna's splendor in everything here, and having appreciation and gratitude for it. That's Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Not that we're, because sometimes we can cultivate a mentality of becoming disgusted with everything here.
Mm.
And, this is Maya, I want to go back to God. And, okay, that's good in the beginning, but I think as we progress in our Krishna consciousness, it's about trying to see Krishna's hand in everything, no matter where we are, what's going on, and seeing Krishna in the heart of our partner, our spouse, our children, and our family and friends, even if they're not devotees. But still respecting that Krishna is in the heart of everyone,
Yes.
having respect for everything. Anyway, I'm rambling on, sorry. Any other thoughts? Okay. There was something else. Yeah, it is amazing that all of these things, the devotee doesn't aspire for them, but still they come. It reminds me, because it was just Nrsimha Chaturdasi recently, and Prahlad didn't want anything from Lord Nrsimhadev, but Lord Nrsimhadev's like, no, I want to give you something. And also with Dhruva Maharaj, he did all of his austerities just to get his own planet. So he was clearly very materially, but then when he saw Vishnu, when he saw the Lord, he said, no, that's nothing, I don't want that anymore.
Yes.
But the Lord's like, well, I came all this way, so I'll give you your own planet now. It's like, so the pure devotee is still wound up with his own planet. So what to speak of going to Brahmaloka, he gets his own planet, which doesn't get destroyed at the time of annihilation. It's like amazing. Okay, should we maybe read? Would you like to read it?
Yes, I can.
How are we doing for time? Yeah, I think we can read one more. Oh, it's quite long. Purports.
Verse 38. The Lord continued, My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possession at any time. Purport. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one may elevate himself to the higher planetary systems, even up to Brahmaloka, by dint of pious activities, but when the effect of such pious activities are finished, one again comes back to this earth to begin a new life of activities. Thus, even though one is promoted to the higher planetary system for enjoyment and a long duration of life, still that is not a permanent settlement. But as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service, and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. In this verse, Kapila Dev addresses his mother as Shantarupa, indicating that the opulence of devotees are fixed because devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shantarupa, because it is in the mood of pure goodness, undisturbed by the mode of passion and ignorance. Once one is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, his position of transcendental service cannot be destroyed, and the pleasure and service simply increase unlimitedly. For the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time. In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything, but in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time or of the demigods, because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Here, our activities are controlled by different demigods. Even if we move our hand and leg, the action is controlled by the demigods. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of demigods, nor of time. Therefore, there is no question of destruction. When the time element is present, there is the certainty of destruction. But when there is no time element, past, present, or future, then everything is eternal. Therefore, this verse uses the word na ankshati, indicating that the transcendental opulences will never be destroyed. You continue?
No, just, you can stop there for a minute. Okay. Seems quite long purport. Yeah, any reflections on that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, when I read, I remember that how Prabhupada, when he was on this planet, he was doing so much. It's like he's not affected by time. I mean, in 10 years, he did so much. All his book, writing all his letter, everything. My God, it's impossible.
It's true.
And still, he never seems busy. He never seems
yeah,
in
you
a
have
rush.
always time for devotees. Devotees can say, okay, no problem. I can speak with you. I have all the time in the world. He was in the international society, writing books, writing letters. It seems not affected by time.
Yeah, so nice.
And interesting, not affected by time and the material energy. Like even when we traveled, we came only from London to here, and still you think, okay, I need to rest. But Prabhupada's like globally traveling, and it wasn't like, look, give me 2 days, I got jet lag, give it. He was same schedule, same dictating, meeting. He was above that material energy, and like for us, even if we do maybe morning program, might be like, okay, give me time.
Yes.
Give me time before I meet you.
Yeah, I've heard that Prabhupada would be on the plane, it would be landing, and he'd say, what time is it? And he'd set his watch, and whatever time it was, wherever he was landing, then he would start the program that he would normally be on every day at that time. So even if he left Bombay at like whatever in the middle of the night, and then he arrived in New York or something, it'd be like lunchtime. He'd be like, okay, so it's lunchtime, so we'll chant Gayatri and just get on with the day kind of thing and start the program and just get right into it. And also I think it's nice because if you look at Prabhupada's life, he was consistent in what he did. So he would do something every day.
Yes.
So like his translating, he would rise every day, and he didn't translate the entire Bhagavatam in one day, but every day he would do a couple of verses and purports. And then at the end of a year, you've done like a canto or 2 cantos. And then after another year, another canto. And so he was every day, just by that steady, every day doing something, we make progress. But sometimes we're so affected by passion that we think, oh, I don't have enough time if I can't read the entire canto, or then we just don't do it at all. But if we just do a little bit every day, because we just finished, I think I mentioned to you, we have a group where we read together, and we share reflections on WhatsApp. And we just finished the Bhagavad Gita, all of us together. There's a group, maybe about 10 of us, something like that. And I mean, it took us 6 months, something like that. So it took about 6 months, but every day we just read 4 pages. And then 6 months, we finished reading the entire Bhagavad Gita. And we were sharing together, and it's nice to hear back what other people, oh wow, they did it. So it's, it's just a little bit every day makes a difference.
This is also a way to be in the mode of goodness then. This is goodness.
It creates that space, and every day I just have to do it. But I think the important thing is to make sure it's doable.
Don't burn yourself.
That's right. You don't set the bar so high that it becomes stress, because some days you may, I'm sure there were days just because of Prabhupada's traveling where it didn't happen. If he started traveling at 8 o'clock at night and arrived at midday the next day and he started his program, then it means he didn't get to translate early in the morning on that journey. But he continued. So some days you miss, and we would always make it up because some days we didn't get the 4 pages in, so the next day we have to read 8. But if you set it too high and you skip, then it's okay, then and if we go 3 days, which might happen once in a while, then you have to read 12 pages, so then it becomes like a yajna. So you can't have it so that every day you feel like, oh, it shouldn't be like, oh, I gotta read Bhagavatam. It should be like, oh yeah, we can do it, it's just 1 page or 2 pages or whatever. Even if it's just a paragraph.
Yeah, it's true. I find when we just engage the mind in 1 page, then the mind wants to do more.
Yes,
exactly.
Because the mind is tricking us all the time, so we need also to find some way of
tricking the mind back. Yeah, you're right, dear mind. Just 1 page. What? Let's read more. What is it called? Reverse psychology. Yeah, I like this term Shantarupa.
Yes.
I was trying to think, someone else's name Shantarupa, isn't it? I was thinking, this is Swami Bhuvamani's wife. What's her name? Shantarupa. I thought someone, I can't remember now. But yeah, that term Shantarupa means that you're in the Vaikuntha atmosphere. Shanta. And I was thinking of the devotee we were reading with the other day, Shantatma, who seems to be in that space also. His name is very suitable. He's very shanti, very peaceful. Shantatma Prabhu. Yeah. Very nice.
I was also thinking there is kind of something to understand about time, because in this world also, but it's a big subject, time, but also in the spiritual world, some traditions say that there is no time, so there is no action, there is no movement, and yet we know in the spiritual world there is action. So somehow there is time, but it's different influence.
Yeah, well I think what I've always heard said is time is conspicuous by its absence. So yeah, it's like there's an experience of time, because like Krishna has, the Astakaliya Leela, he has his 8, there's a division of the day, it's divided into 8, so what is that, 3 hours, 3-hour segments that Krishna has his Leelas, his pastimes, he's got his morning pastime, like where Mother Yashoda, they're all dressing him, and then he goes out into the pasture, then he has lunch, then he has kills a demon. But there's no demons either, so they do something, they fight. It's kind of, because there's no demons in the spiritual world either. And then he has his meeting with the gopis in the evening, or he comes out of the forest and then he meets with the gopis, and then his leela's like that, and then he's sneaking back into the house, pretending to be asleep, and Mother Yashoda goes, Krishna, time to get up, oh yeah ma. So he's got so time seems to be passing, but there isn't the deteriorating factor, because it's ever fresh. Every day is ever fresh, which also I mean, I don't know about you, but my experience also in Krishna consciousness, it is like that. Every day is ever fresh, it's new. Even though, you know, we might live, because you're very fortunate, you're living in the temple or very near to the temple, Mangalarti, same time, same place, same deities, often similar devotees, singing the same song. You're like, you say that to materialistic people, they're like, God, your life sounds so boring. But every day is brand new. The curtains open, the deities are dressed subtly different. Whoever sings might sing a little different. There might be one or two different people. Somehow we're in a different mood, in a different space. It's different. Every day is different, you know. And so it's still ever fresh, you know. And we just finished reading the Gita, which we've read before, we've studied before, we've taught it many times. But we were coming up with so many realizations. Like every time we would read, it's like, was this in it last time? There's so many things. So, so spiritual life is absolutely ever fresh, you know. That's the Vaikuntha atmosphere. Any last things? I think we'll finish here because the purport's quite long. And we don't want to keep all of you like, okay, hurry up. We want to keep it bite-sized, you know, not a full meal. Any last thoughts?
I was just thinking what you said about the ever fresh. I'm always touched to see the devotees who are there since 30, 40 years sometimes, and when the curtain open and they still feel emotion, and just you can see that they appreciate every day since 40 years. Krishna is the same deities. We can think that it's the same. The costume are changing, okay, but still it's the same costume. But no, they just and I'm here since I'm in Krishna consciousness since 7 years. So I feel that we can think, okay, 7 years is not much, so that's normal and stuff. But 40 years like that, so it's really Krishna is ever fresh.
That's beautiful. Very nice. Very nice. Prabhuji, any closing words?
My mind is still on the concept of time. But maybe we can speak after about this concept, because it can maybe be a longer discussion. But thank you for making that happen. It's inspiring to read Prabhupada's books together.
Definitely.
I find it's fresher when you read together than on its own. And I really like it. I hope we can do it more often here.
Jai Haribol. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Any final words?
Hare Krishna.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Iskar Mayapur ki
Jai.
Anantakoti Krishna Vrinda ki Jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari.